What a smash. Let me grab some food and we'll talk about this, but I gotta get everything done right now and get this video out today because we play again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Gonna have to eat while I do this, apologies, but unfortunately the nature of MSI and this tournament being during work hours makes it a little bit more complicated than normal. First, let's start off with the stage setup though. Absolutely incredible. Actually, stage setup is absolutely incredible. It looks like something straight out of a Street Fighter V setup with like the underground style of it, the two steps coming down, like the sewer in the middle, and then like the stages on the side, like it all being concrete. It looks incredible. The crowd volume a little bit low at times, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Look, Golden Guardians look absolutely incredible today, and it amazed me coming into this series how many people truly doubted North America against minor regions. And I don't understand where it comes from. We have never lost against the minor region. Like best of one game, sure. And like a best of three, best of five, or like a major promotion series to get out of play-ins, it doesn't matter what team it is. We've never lost, ever. So where people had this impression coming in that we were underdogs versus GAM is beyond me. Huhi had one of the best series that I've seen him play in a long time. Yes, we were punching down on competition in hindsight, but he played incredibly well. The set pick, he was known for during his time with 100 Thieves, even back in the Golden Guardians days when he was starting off in support. It was one of the first picks that he really picked up, and he played it incredibly well. Even when he died early on in fights, he was still getting out a ton of CC, a ton of damage, and just a ton of utility all around. He was leading these fights all game. Game 2 on the Amumu, exact same thing. It was popping off against a team comp that realistically he's not going to be able to do as much into with an Amumu into like a Braum, but still he was providing a ton of utility and quite frankly setting up Stixxay to just knock down pins left and right. And Stixxay had one hell of a series. I know people were going to talk about the pentakill.
That Heartbreaker as well.
Yeah, that BT shield and draw a bait for
Look
Stixxay.
at
Oh!
Engage and GAM are destroyed underneath their own nexus. Stixxay's with the Quadra. Stixxay manages the pentakill.
He was exerting a lot of pressure, which translated to wins in other areas. Licorice had the fumble in game 1, but beyond that, looked very clean. His poppy was good, and overall, just nothing but positive things to say about Golden Guardians. To touch on GAM briefly, I think people still look at Vietnam through the eyes of 2016, 2017, but it's been so long since that point. And especially COVID, whenever they couldn't attend international events for 2 years, it's just showing. They are not the same teams as they once were when they were consistently on the international stage. Sure, they might be able to get back up to that point, but at least for now, like Worlds and now MSI this year, like I know it's only one series, but it's pretty damning. Like really, really damning. That by all means, I love the guys over at GAM. I got to talk to a few of them at Worlds last year, so I wish them nothing but the best. But with this group specifically, it does really look like it's just a BLG versus Golden Guardians matchup that we're just waiting to see who goes on immediately and who goes on to play likely either G2 or PSG. Speaking of BLG, we got a date with them tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We got the early game because G2 closes it out for the end of the day. And I must say, I know a lot of people are down on how they played, but that's the nature of the LPL. It seems like there's always these games where they don't necessarily look great, but they kind of ramp up as time goes on. Also with the LPL, it's always one team in the tournament. That could end up being BLG, or it could be their other representative who I'm blanking on right now. What's her name? JDG. Could be JDG, and then you see BLG just not really do all that much. But ultimately, I do think they're going to rebound. Elk is a problem, a big problem. Now, granted, luckily, America's favorite pastime, hunting. One of the animals that we love to hunt, elk. I actually don't know. If any hunters are in the chat here, I'm probably, or in the comments below, I might get roasted for that. Elk might be one of those animals that we don't hunt, but I just know they're in the deer family, so I think we hunt elk, so I'm not 100% certain. I don't know. If my brother-in-law sees this, he's going to hate me. I don't think Ben's going to have 2 really bad days in a row like he had today and tomorrow against Licorice. I think that lane probably goes a little bit more neutral than most people were expecting. But when I look at the power points for BLG today, it was ADC and jungle. And River arguably played the worst out of any player on Golden Guardians today. So there's a very clear pathway where it's just a jungle canyon in tomorrow's series. But if I'm looking at ways for us to beat BLG, it has to come through Huhi and River, in my opinion. I think Stixay is going to be stable as he always is, but it's going to be on Huhi to find ways to get in the back line and shut down Elk, or at least make him accessible to everybody else, so then Gory and Stixay can step up. And you also then are going to need River to have the playmaking to help enable these as well. But it's just going to be about killing Elk. If you can get Elk down in these fights, we stand a chance. If you can't, then there's a problem. Basically, tomorrow, everybody's going to need to step up. We are very clearly underdogs going into this series. Do not let anybody else tell you differently. Don't, even I'm going to give you a hopium angle from start to finish, but that does not take away from the fact that we realistically should lose this series. And I don't think anybody's going to predict us to win except for me. I actually am looking at what we saw today, and I don't think we're going to win the tournament by any means. This isn't me saying that Golden Guardians is going to go on this massive tear after this, but I saw enough for them to beat BLG. And I think Licorice is going to be stable and keep Ben where he needs to be. And I truly do think if Huhi plays like he did today, we can shut down Elk and win this. I think it's going to be hard fought, probably a 2-1 series. If I'm being honest, I think we can win at least 1 game minimum. But I'm willing to say that we do take the second and that we step up and actually pull this across. Now, do I think BLG still makes it into the next round? Yeah, absolutely. I haven't seen anything from any of the other teams to really worry me all that much. I'm an NA fan. Why would I not pick the NA team in a scenario where they actually can win? And if you're going to sit here and be like, oh, they can't, I don't know what to tell you. Open your eyes. To touch on the other group real quick, G2 and PSG both look pretty good in their series. Yes, they 2-0'd, not in the same manner that BLG and Golden Guardians 2-0'd today, but they still did win. And this is one of those that I think both of those teams are going to continue to ramp up as the tournament goes on, especially G2. PSG I'm not as familiar with, but apparently they play a very steady play style, so they should be fine and continue to correct some of their errors early on. But I do think G2 takes the series tomorrow 2-0. The crowd buff is just insane. Which, speaking of that, I will discount G2 because obviously it's a European crowd. They're going to be favorites of their hometown there. But the amount of fans that showed up for Loud and for BLG specifically is nuts. I don't think Loud makes it on, unfortunately. I think they get knocked out and play in stage. But if there's one thing that I wish we could do as NA fans, it's travel better to international tournaments. You look at the crowd that was cheering for Golden Guardians today versus Loud or versus BLG, not even the home teams, and it's just a night and day difference. It's not even close. I don't know what we need to do to be able to have more people that travel. Obviously, our economy needs to get better, but that kind of goes for everybody, everywhere at the same time, so it's not really But yeah, the crowd was weirdly quiet for the Golden Guardians game, but louder for the other series, to the point where it was more hype. Even the plays where he's popping off.
On that pop, the ultimate Baron is secured. The showstopper is dropped. The haymaker is popped.
Bang!
The crowd stayed relatively mild compared to the last 2 days when even lesser plays would happen and they just get extremely noisy, rambunctious, and they're everything I want from international crowds. And it makes me sad that we don't travel enough or have those fans that go there. I would if I could, by all means. Let me be clear, I very much would, but obviously I gotta work, and unfortunately I have a full-time job outside of esports. Maybe one day, but not today. Anyways, a bit of a shorter episode. Most of these are gonna be, unfortunately, that aren't played during the weekdays because I have work, and filming this now and being able to record it and get it out in time for tomorrow's game, and then the way this bracket is gonna be set up for MSI is gonna make these videos a little bit tougher. So they might be a little bit rougher around the edges, but hey, I'm a normal NA fan, working a normal NA job, trying to put out some NA content. Hope you enjoy. And hopefully, we'll talk tomorrow after a win. Otherwise, we play 2 days after that, in which I'll be out of state for a wedding. So God only knows how recording that's gonna go. I don't know. I'll see you all in the next one. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing these as the tournament goes on, because I'll be around all MSI.